Namaste and good morning, everyone. Welcome back to our series of Sutra Talks, which we do. And today we are going to cover up the new chapter of the Sutra. And we have not coined it anything because it is like naming the Sutra itself. So, first, I would like to invite our guide and guest here, Dr. Rajesh Avera. Welcome, Rajesh sir. Good morning.
Good morning and namaste, Dhruv.
Namaste. So, as a flow is, first we practice for some time, then we move on to the verses, and then your this. So, first start with it. Okay. So, we have the chapter 13, which is naming of the sutra. Subhuti then asked the Buddha, Bhagwan, what should we call this sutra and how should we practice it? The Buddha said to Subhuti, this sutra should be called the Diamond Prajna Paramita. You should memorize this name. Why is this so? The Pragya Paramita taught by Buddha is not Pragya Paramita. Subhuti, what does this mean? Does the Tathagata teach anything? Subhuti said to the Buddha, Bhagwan, the Tathagata has nothing to teach. I'll cover up I'll pause here.
No, you can cover up the whole chapter, then we go through again. Okay.
Yeah. Shubhuti, what do you think? If the three Sahasra Mahasahasra Lokadhatu are crushed in dust, are the dust particles great in number? Subhuti said, extremely great, Bhagwan. Subhuti, the Tathagata says those particles of dust are not dust. Judged by name, they are called dust. The Tathagata says worlds are not worlds. Judged by name, they are called worlds. Subhuti, what do you think? Can the Tathagata be seen by his 32 bodily signs? No, Bhagwan. One cannot see the Tathagata by means of his 32 bodily signs. Why is this so? Because the 32 bodily signs taught by the Tathagata are in fact no signs. Just by name, they are called the 32 signs. Subhuti, on the one hand, a virtuous man or a virtuous woman sacrifices their life as numerous times as the sands in the Ganges river for the welfare of others. And on the other hand, there is another person who memorizes as few as 4 lines of verse of this sutra and teaches it to others. The merit received by him is greater than the former. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is about naming the sutra. Uh, when we talk about name and form, okay, we have this thing called memory. And memory needs to be consolidated into a zipped file, and we have to have that whole experience put down into a name and a form. So we put that in our memory as an image, and then from that image we have references, and based on that references we can connect back to the past. This is the nature of things. So when you have to interact with the world, you need name and form. And here it is very clearly said that when Buddha is teaching about no name and no form, and saying that there should be nothing, uh, the basic idea is, even this nothingness that he's teaching about having nothing, he still needs to put this into somebody's understanding, that they can go and refer to this. And hence he's asking, Subhuti is asking to the Buddha, that what should we name this. The Buddha says that you can name this as Diamond Pragya Paramita Sutra, the Vajra Chedika Pragya Paramita Sutra, and memorize this name, because as soon as you memorize this name, it will take you to the whole sutra that I have given. I will know the whole discussion that unfolded because of this name. So I don't need to remember the whole thing. I just need to have a point of reference. From that point of reference, I get to enter into the whole conversational journey that happened there. Okay, so it's like, with the name you can know the whole thing. You know the name of the movie, and the movie comes out in front of you. You know the person's name, and the person's character and personality comes out in front of you. You name the dish, and the dish whole preparation, its taste, its presentation, everything comes out of you. So simply, he's saying that you should have the ability to name things, because naming keeps you organized in your experiences. Now, why is this so? Because the Pragya Paramita taught by Buddha is not Pragya Paramita. And this again, you need to understand that even though we are telling that this sutra is going to teach you something, technically it is not teaching you, it's just letting you go back to that experience of conversation that happened. It's not forcing you to learn, because there was a question raised by Subhuti, there was an answer given by Buddha. That's where the whole discussion unfolded. That's where this understanding came. That's where the Diamond Sutra was born. That's why this particular sutra was named. And there was no forced teaching, there was no compulsion. It was just a kind of a clarification that Buddha gave to the confusion that Subhuti had. Okay, so if you look at it, this is the way you have to look at life. When you meet people, you might have interaction with the people, you might categorize them, but you cannot hold views about them like that always. They would change. Mr. X was with you in a rude manner. You had an experience, and Mr. X now is a file and a folder in your mind, in your memory. Now you will use that. Okay, I had an experience, so when Mr. X, at this moment when he came, this is what the experience I had of his rudeness. Now you don't judge him, and you don't categorize him, because you don't say that Mr. X is rude. It was only rudeness for that event that happened. Technically, when you will have a shock of your life, if you see the same Mr. X delivering goods and helping the poor, and you'll say, hey, how is this so? Then this person absolutely looks different from the rude person that I know. uh, that's true, because at that time it was not he who was showing his behavior, he was just reacting to a incident
Even
that happened. You understand? So even that happened. Now when you see, oh, he's a good person, again don't put that category, because maybe at the next time he's robbing somebody and looting somebody, and you'll say, my goodness, I saw him rude, I saw him giving something, and now I'm seeing he's cheating and robbing. Again, don't categorize it. Look at things as it is. And this is why Buddha says that even though I'm telling you to name this as the Draiman Pragya Paramita Sutra, even though I'm telling you that you need to categorize this and memorize it, remember this, that I did not teach this. It was just a query that you raised, and I answered that query. Okay, let's take the next slide also. So, Subhuti, what does this mean? Does the Tathagata teach anything? No. And Subhuti is very clear. Tathagata has nothing to teach. He's just clarifying my question. So, do the customer care department teach anything? No. They just answer all the questions that have been asked regarding the product, regarding the services. And so, here Buddha is also telling you that the experience that you will have is your own experience. There is no way that I can force a teaching on you. I cannot force you to think like that. I will only give you a view. Your own patterns will help you think in the way you want to. It's like the seven colors are offered to everyone in the class, and everybody with those seven colors with their brush make different pictures, and all of them are okay because they still include the seven colors, right? One among that would be best, one among that would not be best, depending on how the person is using his skills of painting to deliver a good painting. Okay, so the ingredients do not define a fixed outcome, so there is no fixed teaching in this. This is always going to be ever changing. So Diamond Sutra is like a mirror. Every time you read, you'll have another perspective to it.
Mm.
Okay, next slide. So again, Subhuti, what do you think? If the three Sahasra, Mahasahasra, Lok Dhatu are crushed into dust, are the dust particles great in number? Now here again, he's trying to tell and explain. Again, he's trying to explain that, okay, I take the whole existential universe, crush it into small, into dust particles. Now, is the dust particles greater in number? Of course, it is greater in number. Subhuti agrees to it. Then Tathagat says, hey, listen, I'm just using a point of reference for you to understand. When I say Tathagata says those particles of dust are dust, they are not dust. Just by name, they are called dust. I'm using it to refer. So many a times, people hold grudges against people. You told me this. You don't do this dog-like behavior, and we say, "My goodness, you're calling me dog. You're holding it by word. I just called it point of reference that this behavior of yours is very similar to the dog. I did not call you dog. No, but people hold that. You abuse me. Your words. I just gave away my frustration to you, and I leave it there. So I don't get affected with people's words because I understand they are just words. They don't mean something.
Yeah.
I'm going to kill you. Somebody's going to say that and you kill that person. My goodness, that person only told you I'm going to kill you and you killed it. So the one who killed is the one who actually acted, not the one who said. So similarly, making it very clear here that the dust particles are just dust particles because I am saying so. If I
Mm.
would have said they're particles of gold, they're particles of something else, it would have been so because I'm naming it. So you have been named Dhruv by your parents, but if your parents named you Jack, you would have been known by Jack.
Mm.
But that doesn't change Dhruv as a person. You understood? So even though in Indian culture there is always this thing that when you go on a next journey in a spiritual journey, you go for a name change. You take the Dhamma name, you take a new spiritual name. But even though the name has changed, you have not changed. Your basic nature has not changed. But suddenly people think, okay, now my name changed, I changed. No, the core personality of yours remains the same. So Buddha says it very clear that the Tathagata says worlds are not worlds. Just by name, they are called worlds. So again, he's reminding everything that he's saying, do not have a fixed view towards it. He's using it to explain some concepts, some experiences, which cannot be put into words, yet he's trying to put those in words. It's like trying to tell the cells inside my body, my red blood cells and white blood cells, how Rajesh is. No ways they are going to ever understand what Rajesh is. See, similarly, we are just a little strand in the existential fabric. We'll never understand what the fabric as a whole is. So here Buddha is trying to explain us something that cannot be explained, and hence he just calls it worlds. Because you see, you will come across this infinite worlds that are there, but you cannot separate them. Okay, so there is this world and there is this world and there is this world. No, they are not separate. They are all together. So you cannot say the leaf on one tree, this is a different leaf. They are all part of that same tree. They come together. But because you have to explain, you explain that this is a fruit, this is a leaf, this is a flower, this is, you name it in different ways. But technically, you are naming it for your reference. The tree doesn't care. It just pops up a leaf, it pops up a flower, it pops up a fruit. It's just going through transformation, right? So it doesn't need name and form. It just is so, right? Similarly, Dhruv today is a young boy, Dhruv was a small child, Dhruv will be an old man. These are just stages of Dhruv's journey. They are not fixed points where you can say, oh, this is Dhruv or that is Dhruv, so yes, but you will say, yeah, now Dhruv is a young man. You call young because for the name's sake you call, for reference sake you call. Yes, I was a child, for reference sake. But technically, if you ask Dhruv himself, technically he's just been growing. He doesn't realize that there have been stages that he has been a small child and a big man. He doesn't know that there is no fixed transition as such. So you can even not force yourself that from this I became this. No, 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 it is always a flux, a flow, and this has to be understood. Next slide. That's the last slide, or we have the next? Ha. Subhuti, What do you think? Can the Tathagata be seen by his 32 bodily signs? Because here Buddha was talking about Tathagata, and he was telling that a Tathagata is a person with certain qualities, and you can see him with these 32 bodily signs. And they used to say, when even in India today also, when you match two people together for marriage, we say ki 36 gun milne chahiye,
Mhm.
36 qualities should come together. So in those days also, they said that 32 qualities make a Buddha. Okay, so when these 32 qualities, so can you say that Tathagata can be seen by 32 bodily signs? Subhuti says, no, Bhagwan, one cannot see the Tathagata by means of a 32 bodily signs. Means if somebody has these 32 bodily signs, doesn't define that that person is a Tathagata. Why is this so? Because the 32 bodily signs taught by the Buddha, Tathagata, are in fact no signs. Just by name, they are called as 32 signs. So, even though he's using adjectives to describe certain things, like you take an apple and you say, it's got red color, it's sweet in taste, it's, seedless altogether, only seed in the center. All these things, these are all the qualities and that you are explaining the apple about. But those qualities, if I just put down and bring in something that is red, something that is soft, something that doesn't define an apple. The qualities don't define the object. The object has these qualities, and hence he is saying that just by name to explain that apple, because without giving those signs, I will not be able to explain that to somebody else, or somebody else cannot bring that to me back. If I say, go get that thing, what I ate, you will say, what thing? And if you don't use any of these signs to explain it, the person will not know. You will have to use name and form. You'll have to say the red color stuff that I call apple with this thing. Oh, yeah, okay, I'll get that. Then the person goes and he knows specifically what to pick up. So understand that we are working, we are living in a world of a matrix, and everything has its specific way of working. Hence, name and form are very important for functionality. Order is important for smooth flow. So systems are important, and here Buddha is telling us, but do not let systems drive you. You should drive systems. Do not let conditions, which work on a systematic way, do not let them drive you. You ride on the conditions. You make sure what is required and how much is required. Is it clear?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that's what Buddha is trying to tell us here. So, Subhuti, if on one hand a virtuous man or a virtuous woman sacrifices their life as numerous times as the sands in the Ganges River for the welfare of others, okay, and on the other hand, there is one person who memorizes as few as 4 lines of this verse of this sutra and teaches it to others, the merit received by him is greater than the former. Now, why? It's like this, it's about putting systems in place. One is a person doing it himself, he is able to do all the deeds, he's doing it, okay. And the other is he is able to teach everybody to do it, so the output is going to be much better. So one person going to do the sales and having a network who is being taught how to do the sales, the sales at the network is going to be greater than the one individual, right? So a team effort is always going to be greater than one individual's effort. And here Buddha is saying that teaching even 4 verses of this can bring more clarity to the people than doing it yourself and doing it, explaining it yourself. So even though actions matter, but teaching always supersedes actions. So one has to develop himself through teachings, upgrading himself with new skill sets, because that is going to improve your actions, that is going to improve the whole team that is going to act. So remember one thing, what you learn, you should be able to teach, because every time you teach, in every teaching you exist, and with every existence of yours you will be able to gain more and more merits, because you will be able to contribute better. So if you are able to do good things, teach how you do good things to others so that they can do good things, because then good things are there everywhere, and that means you have expanded yourself, and so the merits that you have accumulated are much more than one person that you would have done yourself. So here again, Buddha is giving a beautiful comparison, and again, comparison only for the namesake for us to understand. So it doesn't mean that a virtuous man and virtuous woman is going to sacrifice his life. He's just saying as many as times. So giving you a comparison Even then, that comparison, which you cannot even imagine, the merit of teaching the four verses from this sutra are far greater than that merit of your actionable items, so again, another inclination towards how you can transform your life through education, transform your life through association, transform your life through realization. So these are important aspects for transformation. And here again, if you see, Buddha is stressing on teaching, and civilizations that accepted this part of teaching have transformed themselves. So always remember, teaching is going to be the core essence of somebody's transformation.
Yeah.
Yeah, so are we clear on this? So no
Yeah,
other
clear.
questions?
Yeah, no questions there. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
So if there is any, like, you did conclude it, but like an end note, ki this is it, guys. This is something you have to do. Something that is like an actionable item.
Yeah. So I think the only way is go out and teach. Teach what you have learned. Maybe the teaching is something that will help somebody or no, but one thing for sure, it will definitely make you validate what you have learned, whether it is workable or not workable. And your actions will decide whether it should be a part of memory or should not be a part of memory. So please go out and keep on talking and sharing of something that you have learned today, an information, a skill set, whatever it is. Go and teach, teach, teach. Do not stop from teaching. Do not stop from sharing.
Yeah, great. Thank you so much. We'll call it a end here, and thank you for joining in. And that was it.
Thank you so much. Bye bye.